I'm just saying, it is another beautiful, windy, blustery, rainy night. I am not complaining about this lovely weather. And that's actually not sarcasm. You guys know that. So, what another wonderful weather evening we are having here in my corner of Michigan. And there are 2 weeks left until Halloween. Hey guys, it's Heather the Crochet Witch. How are you guys doing today? Ooh, it's cold here. Very cold here today. I have got the chills really bad too, so I've been like thoroughly taking advantage of all of the extra like shawls and blankets and stuff that I have. Like this is the just that big triangle granny stitch shawl that I made last year. I think I made at the end of the year or something. It's out of some Michael's yarn that I of course don't have any more of. I think I just used all of it, but this is some recycled yarn. Like literally the yarn was recycled. I can't think of it. It's the bigger version of the eco. It's just like eco yarn. Anyway, it's quite warm, so very happy about that. Anyway, I don't think I even said welcome to day 7. Is it the 17th? Welcome to day 17 of Vlogtober. 2 more days and I get to start my advent calendar stuffs and my gift exchange stuffs with Courtney. I hope today that my package got to her. Hers came early to me, so I have it here. But I hope that it made it. Oh, we'll see, I guess. I mean, it should make it there in 2 more days, but still. Anyway. So how are you guys doing? I went to see the new Halloween Ends movie. David and I went to go see it today. And I liked it. I don't want to say it was bad. I liked it. It wasn't my favorite of all the Halloween movies. You know, my favorites are the Rob Zombie versions. I wish he had made a 3rd one, but it was good. I know Samantha asked me if it was worth seeing in the theater, and I think it was. Like, I'm a big fan of it. David's critique was, he said they could have cut the last 45 minutes out and he would have been happy. But I thought it was nice. I liked it. Nice. I thought it was good. It definitely seemed like it's called Halloween Ends. Definitely seemed like the end, like they're not going to do a 3rd one, but you never know, right? Or somebody else will pick up the torch, which I'm okay with. So maybe it'll be Rob Zombie again. Who knows? But anyway, speaking of Rob Zombie, have you guys watched, I know I made a post in my Facebook group, but have you guys watched the new Munsters movie that Rob Zombie directed? I thoroughly enjoyed that. It's kooky and campy, like you would expect the Munsters to be. Not anything too scary, nothing vulgar. It was good. It was really good. Like, I don't mind vulgar and all that, but you know, the Munsters, I wouldn't have expected that, and Rob did not disappoint. I love Rob Zombie so much. Anyway, so yeah, we went to go see that. I know I recorded a little bit of clip on the trip, and after we got back, pretty much I added some stuff. I know I told you I added like some new equipment down here for tutorials and stuff, and I added a different ring light upstairs in my craft room upstairs. So David's sleeping, or I would be recording up there right now because I wanted to, but he went to bed earlier than me, so, and that's okay. We'll get up there again. And what else did we do? Oh, I've been working on writing out the Gramps pocket shawl. I know I posted about that today on Instagram, but I have been working on that. And so my process is, when I make, like, say I had designed this, I made it, then I would go through and write down how I made it after I was happy with the finished product. Then I test my own, like I follow my own pattern instead of like, oh, I know I made it like this. I follow my own pattern to the T. And if I'm happy with that, then I send it out to whoever's going to test it for me. Unless it's like stupid simple, but I haven't, even the pretty simple stuff I've still sent out to people. Like right now, my dragon tail shawlette is out to a few people. And once I get done making my second Gramps pocket shawl, that will be out. And then I can finish writing the Lost Highway shawl that I started like 2 years ago. It seems like it might have been last year, but I'm on this like pattern kick right now to like get them out. So I guess maybe I'm trying to end my my year with my one pattern per month goal finished. But even though it would be like the last couple months of the year. Thank you to those who have made my other patterns though, because I have tutorials, videos, and I have the written patterns in my Etsy store for a few different patterns that I have out anyway. I have a destination hat and cowl set. I have a Silent Night cowl. The Silent Night cowl was meant for like shawl and a ball, or like really thin, like fingering weight type yarn. So yeah, it's just a really big drapey. I really enjoy it. I mean, I guess I made it, but so yeah, I have videos out for both of those. I have some video only tutorials too, like Christmas is coming up. I have my Santa's favorite hat tutorial and a couple of stitch tutorials. But yeah, I'll be doing some more of that stuff coming up here. And then I worked on my Lord of the Rings. I finally saw the last, not finally, it's only been out a couple days, but I finally saw the last Rings of Power episode for the season. Have you guys watched that yet? Oh my gosh, I'm so in need. Like somewhere, and I don't know where, like I got my information. Obviously it wasn't a good source, but somebody had said on one of the YouTube videos I watched before watching it, they said there was going to be like 20 episodes. There's 8. And this season's already over, so I'm so sad. Like 20 would have been amazing. I mean, just like 2 more to round out 10, that would have been amazing. I am thoroughly enjoying the Rings of Power. Which, if you haven't caught it, that's the Lord of the Rings series that is on Amazon. Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm getting back on my Lord of the Rings kick. Like, nothing's ever going to officially take Stranger Things out of my #1 fandom spot. I don't think ever, but it would be very hard to ever do that. But Lord of the Rings and The Lost Boys are both very, very up there. So I'm getting back kind of on that kick. I think that's all I did today. I gave myself a little bit of time to just sit around and be miserable and feel sick, which got the Dayquil working for me again right now, but I'll be fine, obviously, but I'll eventually get over this, so. And yeah, I don't think I did much of anything else today. I'm supposed to hang out with Damon for a while tomorrow. And I will probably do more crocheting, and that's about it. Well, that's today as you guys see this, but I do the night before, really, right? Anyway, I am like very babbly tonight. I think it's because I'm finally warming up. Yeah, so the few things that I have that I do every night on Vlogtober. Oh, did you see I made an intro? I think that will be on the beginning of this. If not, I made an intro that'll be on there soon. I think it's a better attempt than my first attempt was. Anyway, so I have, like, moving on. So I have these quarter machine prizes in different types, like different, like this one's E.T. We have Halloween 2, very in the spirit of today. The Gremlins, and there is still one more monster, Universal Monster ball in here. And I've been opening up one or two a day, just showing you guys the little prizes that come in it. So I am going to pick one. Finally got a Gremlins one. I think I'd only opened one or two Gremlin ones compared to everything else that I've opened. Can I get it open? That's another question. Okay. Oh, I have gotten bracelets of every one so far, and now I finally got the, now I got the, Gremlins one. And it has the instructions on it for the Gremlins. If you remember, don't get them wet. Don't get them in sunlight, I think was one of them, because it's a sun with a no sign through it. No feeding after midnight. And then there's just a gremlin face with a no sign. That's cute. I've got my E.T. phone home. I've got Dracula. And somewhere hidden in here, I have a Halloween 2 one. So now I have all of them, from like all the bracelets from all of them. So that one's going on this wrist too. And I think my wrists are about full now. I'm sure I'll pack something else on there, especially if I find a Stranger Things bracelet. Like more Stranger Things bracelets. That's what these all are. They're a Stranger Thing colored one with a heart. I've got one that says Hopper, I've got one that says Steve, I've got one that says Eddie, and I've got one that says Billy. I guess I need a Dustin one. Dustin's my other favorite character. So, anyway, speaking of Stranger Things, what a great time to lead into my next segue. I have been doing these Stranger Things predictions, subjects to talk about, theories leading up to season 5 or explaining things from the past. Some of them are internet ones, some of them are mine. But yeah, I have them anyway, and I have them all written down, and every day I've been picking one and telling you like my opinion on it or my thoughts on it, and then asking you guys to give me yours, and you have not disappointed. I love hearing this from you guys. So today we're going to pick another. I'll pick kind of a short one. Okay, so if you remember the very end of season 4, which is the season that just happened. This is not centered. That's driving me crazy. Let's get the shawl on right, Heather. Be warm and right. Anyway, the ending of it was them realizing that some people thought it was snowing. Some people knew what it was right away and were like, but there was a point in the field when they went out to the field that, things were getting like dark and upside downish looking, and it was kind of meeting the real Hawkins world. So they blended together and they met, right? So the theory that has been talked about is that the merging of Hawkins and the upside down is like the reason that's happening. obviously it's Vecna letting them know, like, hey, I'm still around. But the merging of them is Vecna preparing to basically bring an army to Hawkins. And that's why he's, like, kind of turning a big portal. Like, he's making, like, a big portal, basically, is the theory. So, I know that was an odd depiction of, like, definition or whatever of it, but my thoughts on that. I actually I fully agree with it. But by army, like, we saw that there was more than one Demogorgon, and we know there's more than one anyway, because the Russians had some. There's a whole packs of Demogorgon dogs, which is, they've talked before about the evolution of the Demogorgon. So, like, it started out as the little thing that, like, Will coughed up, the little slug guy that was Dart. Like, well, there was the little slug, then there was the tadpole, which was Dart. And then Dart grew into the next stage, which was the Demodog. And then, in theory, the Demodogs turn into the Demogorgon. Which, I can see that. Like, I guess at first I thought maybe there were multiple creatures. But I could see them all being different stages of the same thing. And that being said, there was a ton of Demodogs, right? And there's been more than one Demogorgon. So I could see Vecna, since there's already a Vecna and the Mind Flayer that are kind of joined, and yet the Mind Flayer can be its own, like, entity. I could see him getting together with the Mind Flayer and forming a whole army of, like, the Demodogs, Demogorgons, and bringing them forth, right? Now, what would that mean? Oh my gosh, could you imagine, like, the real world, the normal everyday citizens finding out that way that there is other, like, dimensions, or they're already calling it, like, a hellmouth or whatever, or a portal to hell? Could you imagine just everybody kind of like a Demogorgon running free down the street, you know, attacking at will, doing what it wants, doing its little Demogorgon thing? Could you imagine the reaction of those people who stayed in town who didn't know about it? Or if it were on the news, like, what the world at large watching the news would be acting like? Oh my God. But that being said, there are obviously way less people, and because everybody was leaving Hawkins, right? There's less people there to be, like, casualties or, like, common observer people. There are the news crews who've gotten in there and covered it. I mean, they're probably not going to be there, like, every single day. It's eventually going to be, like, old news. So there may not be, like, coverage on something like that. So it might not be, like, a world at large seeing it type of thing. But I think it's super possible that that's what Vecna's planning, or the Mind Flayer is planning, because they're basically upping their game, like, every time, right? Like, first it was the Mind Flayer that was in our world, and he was kind of like, I'm thinking he was kind of like scoping things out. And then Vecna, who had been trying to get back into the real world, like, find a way there to begin with, kind of piggybacked with him and figured out how to open his own portals instead of just the one that Elle had opened. So he therefore didn't need Elle anymore. And then the next stage, like I said, if they're upping their game, the next stage would be total takeover, right? So I think that it's pretty easy to believe that that's what's coming next. I don't think it's like them getting pulled into the Upside Down. I think it is like a merging of the two so that, like, the armies can cross the lines. He's basically making a big portal, it seems like, to me. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, what do you guys think? Or do you think there's a different reason why the worlds are merging? Like, do you think it's because he's really just, like, pulling the real Hawkins kind of into the Upside Down? Or do you think it's just the two worlds, like, merging? Maybe he's not pulling an army through a portal, but the two worlds are just merging. I don't know for sure, but, like, it's, to me, very reasonable to assume that what's happening is he's basically preparing to bring other beings through that gate and fight for him. So I guess we'll see. But in the meantime, tell me what you guys think. And then the other thing that I have for you today is also a quick one, but I've been doing creepy story time. with a multitude of things, like urban legend type things, real ghost stories. Like last night I told you like what I think is like my creepiest personal experience with the paranormal. A lot of different like legends, lore, true stories about like serial killers. We've talked about a few of those and some cults. And today's is another, I think it's an urban legend. I have seen it called an urban legend. Some people swear it's absolutely true, but I mean, I think with a lot of urban legends, people swear they're absolutely true. So we'll go with urban legend. But have you guys ever heard of the black-eyed children or the black-eyed kids? Same thing. If not, prepare to be creeped out. So the black-eyed kids, as best as I can tell, started out with a guy in the late 90s who had been having like it was open to multiple people, but it was like an email chat basically. So it wasn't meant to be like out to the world at large. It was meant to be like him and his group of friends, and he was telling them something that happened to him that day, which was the fact that he had been parked outside of a movie theater doing errands or such, like in the evening. And he parked outside the movie theater, and all of a sudden there was 2 kids standing outside of his door, like just on the opposite side of his door. And so he like rolls the window down a little bit and asks them like, what's up, or what do they need, or whatever. And they were, I believe he had said he figured they were probably like 9 and 12. Like one was a little bit older than the other one, but they weren't terribly old or anything. And they started explaining to him that they really needed to get a ride home so that they could borrow money from their mom to get into the movies. I think he said it was Mortal Kombat when Mortal Kombat was out, so in the 90s. And he got this really like creeped out feeling, just, you know, sometimes that sixth sense like kicks in, especially if you think something's dangerous. He got this sixth sense feeling that he should not take these kids anywhere, that this would be a bad idea. And he didn't even want to keep his window open. So he tells them like, well, the movie actually already started, so you guys would not make it back anyway. I really can't be giving you a ride. And the kids kept insisting, like, we just need to get home. Can you please just take us home then if we're not going to see the movie? And it'll be okay. Just let us into your car. And basically they were trying to talk him into opening this door. Like they couldn't force themselves in, but they needed to sort of be invited, kind of like the way vampires are. And, or at least in legend, right? Sometimes the lore says otherwise, but the theory is on vampires, they have to be invited in. So these kids were, you know, could you just let us in? Could you just give us a ride? Could you just, you know, and the guy was like getting more creeped out, and he kept inching his window up, and no, I cannot do, you know, sorry guys, no, you're on your own. And he puts his car into gear, and the oldest one slams his hand on the window, and he says, we just need you to let us in. We just need to be invited. And the kids both look up directly at him, and as the name implies, their eyes are completely black. Like, no irises, no whites of their eyes, just everything is all basically pupil or whatever, you know, all black. And he freaks out and he takes off. And luckily that was his encounter. And from his email group, email chat, somebody had leaked it. So that had gotten out on the internet. Well, I said this was in the late 90s, but more people started sharing their stories on the internet or on, you know, to their friends or whatever when the topic came up. But his encounter wasn't, it may have been the first like recorded one, but it was not the only one. Like there were ones dating back to like the 80s. I want to say somebody said the 60s, but I'm not sure about that one. The 80s for sure. And they're always like similar. A lot of people tend to be either in their car in public, but like maybe like he was in an, you know, later at night in a parking lot kind of thing. Like there weren't a lot of people around. So like secluded but public, or they are getting like in their homes, they're getting like a knock at the door or whatever. Now, the people who have been behind their doors, like maybe they're looking out the peephole or haven't even quite made it to the door yet, have said that however they're doing it, the kids that are on, they're always in twos, and the kids that are on the other side of the door can basically sense when they're there. Like they may not even open the door or say hello or, you know, any kind of indication that they have even went to look at like out this peephole. And the kids, like, their attention is like basically if they could look through the door, they would be. Their eyes are, of course, black in every story because that's the black-eyed children. And they start talking just immediately in the direction that you are standing. Like if you're standing over there, they're looking over there and they're talking to you. Or if you're standing over there, they're looking over there. If you're on on the other side of the door, they're looking right at you through this door, basically. And they all are using some excuse, some reason why they need to come inside. Like, can I come inside and get a glass of water? My little brother or sister is not feeling well. Could we come inside and call our mother? Could you let us come in out of the cold for a while? There's a lot of different excuses, but they're all basically asking permission to be let inside. Or let inside your car. If like, can you take us here? Or could we wait in your car for our mom to pick us up? Or, and every time, like you need to tell them no, according to the urban legend stories. And just my best advice to you is if you encounter them, you need to tell them no. Because if you tell them yes, I'll get to that because there is a story that I've heard about people telling them yes. But basically when you tell them no, they start getting more and more insistent, more and more adamant, more and more frustrated. They start like getting angry basically. And like, you need to let us in. You need to let us in. And they do finally they've said like when they've said no, the kids have finally like disappeared, but they always have this creepy feeling like they're still being watched. Well, there was a couple who had let them in. They fell for the glass of water and call my mom story. And they let them in, and they said they had cats. And they said their cats all like were friendly normally, like they loved attention and company. And the cats all immediately like scattered and hid when these kids were around. They would tell them like, wait right there, I'll go in the kitchen and get you, your water or whatever it was. And before they even got to the sink, the kids were following them and just like basically being really creepy. So they would start getting like more and more uneasy, the people would. And it was a husband and his wife. So like the wife was getting more and more uneasy, and she's like, so you need to call your parents. Like, and the kids would say like, our mom's on the way. Well, how is your mom on the way? You haven't even called her yet. But just creepy things that don't fully add up, basically, is what was going on. And they finally did basically like tell the kids, like, you have to go. You have to get out of our house. Your mom can pick you up outside, but you have to be outside. And they did finally get them out after a while, because the kids were basically insisting they needed to stay. Right after the kids left, a car came in. Like it was a dark car came and they got into it. So like the couple at the time were like, maybe that was their mom. That's crazy that she pulled up right then though. And they didn't see the kids again. But as soon as the kids left, the husband like immediately got, I think it was a nosebleed then. And he got like the worst headache he's ever had. And just, he started feeling very ill. And over the next couple days, they found out that he had like tumors in him that they had never shown up before in any of his doctor visits. And then suddenly he had multiple ones. I believe they found them in time and removed them if they were cancerous or whatever. But like basically he just got really sick. And they were blaming the black-eyed children on that. Now, okay, maybe he just had the tumors, maybe. But the story's creepy enough on its own, right? So the moral of the story is, if you ever encounter black-eyed children and they're outside your door, outside your car, wanting to come inside, say no. Do not let them do it. Excuse me. Say no. But that was it for story time. Just a little something to make you think, right? Have you ever heard of the Black-Eyed Children before? Apparently, one of the videos that I watched tonight while kind of like gathering my information about them, because like I knew about them, but I wanted to make sure I had a little more like facts straight kind of thing. One of the videos said that like England had a lot of sightings and run-ins with them and stuff. Like I haven't heard anything specifically from England, but they were like quoting like, oh, when this happened, that was Black-Eyed Children. And so I'm not really sure, but England's apparently had quite the outbreak of Black-Eyed Children sightings and encounters. It's still raining outside. Love it. Even sick, I love it. I love it. Anyway, that was story time. Oh, I know. I think I had a video clip of it. I think I took a video. But if you didn't notice, I just wanted to add that I found, when we went to the movies, I found a poster. I want to get one of those, like the big full-size movie posters. But I found the poster for the new David Harbour movie, Violent Night, I believe it's called, which I will be seeing. It starts December 2nd. I am going to be seeing that immediately and multiple times. Does anybody want to go see that with me? But there's also, for Halloween Ends, the preview they showed was for that movie. And oh my gosh, you got to see even more of it than in the video clip of the trailer. Oh, it looks so good. I'm so excited. I just want to see David Harbour again. But yeah, anyway. So I should probably let you go until tomorrow. I have other videos coming out, so I mean, you're going to see me before tomorrow. But we're almost to 30,000. We're 30-some people away. 30-some people. So I have to say, before I go, that if you are not subscribed yet, and you have been considering it, if you think that Vlogtober is interesting, or if you just want to see my upcoming tutorials, or yarn hauls, or crochet projects, maybe some knitting projects. I do knit a little bit. Anyway, if you've been considering it, now would be a great time to hit that button. And hit the bell. If you're going to hit the button, hit the bell, because I come out with new videos almost daily, even when it's not a vlog month. But vlog months are approaching, right? Because Vlogmas is coming up too. So also, if you're here because you're a Stranger Things fan, I have a lot of Stranger Things chatter going on in like a lot of my videos. So feel free to subscribe, because that will be upcoming also. Anyway, I will let you go on that note, but yeah, subscribe. All right. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. You know I love you, and I hope you know that anyway, because I do. I love you guys very much. And yeah, I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.